So today we are talking about the resource leveling and allocation. So that part will be from the problem point of view. Last time we have we have gone through some theoretical way. Today we'll gone for, decided to go for problem point of view, how the particular things are there. So resource leveling. What is meant by resource leveling? Resource leveling in the slowed smoothing operation, the duration of the project was kept constant and non-critical activities were shifted within the available floats. So that part we have gone through last lecture. We have solved one example regarding this. Is it right? How the non-critical activities are get shifted and that load is making smooth. Okay, and whatever the available float is there. So that float is nothing but whatever the available days are with you, that extra days. Um, we are calculating this part through critical activities. We are calculating the total project days through critical activities, and what are the non-critical activities are there. These are always some lagging conditions, and these lagging parts we have considering to smoothen the activities. So that part we have gone through. So if somebody want to take the review, that is also in front of you. This is example we have taken. Is it right? And then that activities are a little bit shifted. So in first diagram, that 2 days float is there and 7 days float is there. So that float is get shifted and activities are smoothened. So this particular part we have just completed in last lecture. So today our part is resource leveling. So non-critical activities were shifted within the available float to smoothen the resource requirement. In resource leveling, the constraint is on the availability of resources while the project duration can be extended. So there may be the constraint that availability of resources. If resources are available, then and then we can go for resource leveling. Otherwise, whatever the project duration is there, that project duration may be get extended due to non-availability of the resources. In this method, activities are so rescheduled that maximum requirement of resources does not cross their availability. So we require to reschedule the activities, reschedule the resources, so that for that particular activity, that particular resources should be available. And whatever the total project time is there, the total project time we does not require to reschedule, or it should not be get extended, or whatever the given period of time is there, whatever the total time is there, within that that particular activity or that particular project will be get completed. So like this way we have to think. Okay, so this is the one of the important point. However, the available resources should not be less than the maximum number or quantity required by any activity of the project. Otherwise activity cannot be completed. So this is the one statement is there, that available resources should not be less than. Okay, so what are the maximum number? If 10 resources are required, then that 10 resources, 10 availability should be there. If it is less than that, then the project or that activity should not be get completed. Suppose for one of the activity you require suppose 4 resources: man, machine, material, other thing. Out of that, man and material is available but machine is not available. It is little bit difficult to complete that activity. Is it right? So like this, whatever the number of resources you are calculating, that should be required to be ready. So once we consider this, then we will go to this analogy of queuing phenomenon. So already I told you that resource allocation is one of the queuing theory type problem, where in queuing theory, customer is approaching to the particular service station. Customer has to wait in the line, in the queue, to get served. As a station is free, the service is made available to that particular customer, and after taking that service, customer is moving forward, or next customer can approach to service station. So in that queuing theory, we observed that if you increase the number of stations, or first come first serve is there, or only number of stations may be more, but queue is only one. So whatever the available station is there, that customer can run there. So we have taken different examples there, bank or railway booking, etc. So here again we are using queuing phenomenon for resource allocation problem. While allocating the resource, we have to assign that work to one of the resources, unless and until that resources will not be get completed, that resources will not be get free, another activity should not be allocated to that resource. So like this, the queuing phenomenon can be worked in the resource allocation problem. The resource allocation problem can be assumed to analogous to queuing problem. That is we are knowing. In queuing problem, there is a service station. Already we discussed this part. Customer arrive and form a queue at service station and are selected for service according to specific service discipline or rule. That is first come first serve. Similarly, in the resource allocation problem, the resources, for example, man, machine. So man is one type of resource, machine is one type of resource, etc. constitute the service station. Activities arises and form the queue. In queuing theory, the service station and queue of the person, the concept is like this. Here, the man and machine, they are the service stations. These are the service providers. So whatever the activity there, that activity should reach to that particular person or that machine. So somebody may think how that activity should reach to that person. Okay, activity is not reaching to the person, but activities are in the queues, and person who is working on that activity, the, these activities are allocated to that particular person. Once he complete first activity, then and then he will go to the second activity or further activity. Let consider there are two workers in the particular one of the project, or suppose house working project is there, two workers are there. If one worker is looking towards that all the foundation work, another worker still for that work he will not remain constant. So if that foundation work is divided into again according to work breakdown structure into the small activities, that digging the pit or making the steel frames, etc. So if these are the simultaneous activity, one worker is used for that pit digging condition or pit digging activity. Simultaneously, another worker is engaged in the making the steel framework. So if pit digging activity is completed early, that worker will not remain idle. So another particular activity can be assigned to that worker. If still whatever the steel work is there, whatever the steel engagement work is there, steel framework is there, every little bit longer work. Meanwhile, if person second, if he is working on that activity, he require little bit more time. Meanwhile, another worker can complete another two activities. Okay, so like that, the activities are assigned to that worker, and this particular resource allocation is concept is based on that only. Okay, so first come first serve, like this. Whatever the first activity is there, rather here we cannot judge which activity is more important or which activity is the that activity one is assigned to worker one or activity one is assigned to worker two. How we can judge? For that, here we are using the float timing. Whatever the float timing we are calculating in network diagram, that early start and late start, whatever that difference is there, that particular float timing we are considering here. Okay, and based on that timing we can assign the activities, and that is the next point. Float provides the rule by which they are to be selected for execution activity, for that execution of that activity. So suppose two workers are there, one activity is having float 0 and another activity is having float 2. Then first we should assign the activity having float 0, and that should be to worker 1. And what are the second activity there where float is 2, that activity should be assigned to worker 2. Okay, so like this the things are there. Activity with least float to be given top priority. So if there are 2-3 activities are there, how the priority should be given? So for that one rule is there. That rule is that activity who is having least float, that least float means minimum 0 float or another float, other maybe number of that float number may be there. So whatever the least float is there, that activity should be giving top priority. If 0, 4, 6 these are the float numbers, then top priority should be given to 0 float. If 2, 3, 5 these are the float numbers, then top priority should be given to float number 2 or activity having float 2. Okay, activity with higher floats are given lesser priority. So whatever the float number is more, that activity should be kept back, or lesser priority should be given to that activity. So here again, whatever we have learned in CPMM PERT, that calculation construction of the diagram, network diagram, based on that calculation of EL and TL, early start and late start, and calculating of the float, and based on that float activities we have decided in the critical path. Same thing, same calculations we have to do up for this also, and after that we have to decide which activity should be allocated to whom. Okay, so there may be time when resources are ideal, but there is no activity in a queue. So sometimes such situation may come that resources are ideal. Why? Because there is no activity in a queue, so that resources cannot be used for any other activity. At other times there may be too many activities in queue and all may be not taken at the same time. This is another situation. So in first line, it explains another situation. In second line, it explains another situation. First line indicates that resource is ideal and there is no any activity in queue. No one is approaching to that particular active resources, and resources is kept idle. So for example, if you take the bulldozer example or JCB example, the bulldozer or JCB is kept quiet on the project at household building project, and no activity is there. After 4 to 5 days, condition or situation may be like this: all the persons required bulldozer or all the activities required that JCB. At that time, JCB cannot consider all the activity at the same time. Is it right? So that may be the problem. Therefore, some of them have to delay. That's why what it suggests, some activities should be required to be delayed, and which activity should be delayed. So that is we have decided on the float. If the delay is within the free float, and suppose free float means if you are having that more time, that means if 19 days is the project days and now fifth or fourth day is going on and you are having more time, then that particular delay should be possible within that free float. It would not affect the subsequent activity. If free float is more, then it causes recusation on the subsequent activity. Means if free float is more, then there may be a problem for subsequent activity. That means further activities. So further activities will not be considered or will not be followed in that case in proper way. At each time period, therefore, there is to be a certain if there are activities in queue and resources are also available. So there is a certain period is there where activities are in the queue and resources also available. So we have to consider that particular part also. So while instead of discussing too much about this theoretical background, we'll take one example directly. Okay, so the activities in a project along with their durations are given below. So just I'm moving my cursor. I think it is visible to everybody. Each activity requires one labor. So for each activity, one labor is required. At least one labor is required for each activity. Okay, and activity and duration in a day is given to you people. Analyze the network from the point of view of leveling the resources so that project is completed in a shortest possible time. So here we are not required for go for crushing etc. We have to form the particular network in a such a way that, or we have to level the project in a such a way that the short project should be completed in shortest time. So this is the particular example. Activity 1 to 2, 1 to 3, 1 to 5, 2 to 3, 2 to 6, 3 to 4, 4 to 7, 5 to 6, and 6 to 7. That means 7 number activity is the last activity, and 1 number activity is the first activity, and duration in days is given, that 10 days, 6 days, 4 days, whatever the days required for first three activity. Then 2 to 3, 0, that is indicated dummy activity, 8, 10, 10, 6, 6. So this is the duration and activity is shown to you, and each activity required one labor. So for each activity, one labor is required. Okay. So one labor, if it is provided to 1 to 2 activity, same labor cannot be provided to 1 to 3 activity. So how many final labors are required? That is our particular time, and we have to calculate that. So for this is the network diagram already drawn there. So 1 to 2 activity, 1 to 2 activity, 10 days are required. 1 to 3 activity, 6 days are required. 1 to 5 activity, 4 days are required. Then 2 to 3 activity, 0 days are required. So here, this is the, we can call it as a dummy row, so indicated by dotted line. Then 2 to 6, 8 days are required. Then 3 to 4, 10 days are required. 4 to 7, 10 days are required. 5 to 6, 6 days are required. And 6 to 7, 6 days are required. So once you construct this diagram, this network diagram, so we are having just a problem of this much. So this is the only problem what is in front of us. Based on this particular problem, we have, this is the solution part where we have constructed the network diagram. Then calculate EL, that is early start. Let's start, and ES and LS, and calculate the float. So first activity 0 0, so there is no any float is there. Okay, then as you move forward, you should consider only E values. So here 0 0 is there, E is 0. Here E is become 10. Why? So here E should be become 6, but by this arrow, all of you are knowing, while moving forward, we have to take larger number. So E0, E10, so that 0 is there, so E will be become here 10. Okay, then 10 plus 10, this 20, 10 plus 8, 18. So E0 plus this 4 duration, E4 plus 6, E10 should be there, but by this route it is becoming E18. So we have written here E18. 18 plus 6, 24, but by this route it is becoming 20 plus 10, 30. So E30 and L30. So this is the last activity. So whatever the E value is there, we will take as a L value. So E value 30, L value 30, no problem. Then again we have to go backward for back calculations. 30 minus 10, 20, 20 minus 10, 10, then 30 minus 6, 24, then 24 minus 6, 18, 24 minus 8, 16 should be there, but we have to take minimum number which is coming back from this row. 10 minus 0, 10, so 10, then 10 minus 6, 4, but we have to take minimum number which is coming through this. 10 minus 10, 0. Okay, and from this 18 minus 4, 14 should be there, but we have taken smallest number. Then once you calculate this E and L, all the values, then you have to go for further. That means calculating the float. So we have to calculate difference. So to find out the critical path. So critical path, how it is find? 0 0 10 10 10 10 20 20 30 30. So by this route, if we go, there is a zero float is there. That's why this is the critical path. 1 to 2, then 2 to 3 dummy activity is also added in critical path. 3 to 4 and 4 to 7. So this critical path is there, and total days of the project is 30. So this analysis or this particular things we can make by looking at this particular diagram or by constructing this diagram based on the above table, whatever the table is given to us. Based on this table, we can construct this diagram and we can find out the float zero, whatever the zero float points, similarly critical path of the network and total days of the project. So here solution, as it is there, the problem consists of following steps. So already first step we have completed, that drawing the project network diagram and identify the critical path. So project diagram is drawn and it is completed one, and based on that whatever the critical path is there, that is also calculated. So draw the project network diagram. So network diagram is completed and critical path is identified as a 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4 and 4 to 7. So this is the critical path is there. Then after this, once this particular part is over, then after this we have to construct the network analysis table. What is that network analysis table? Okay, the activities required for the labors required for each activity are shown under M column. So M column indicate the labor required for each activity, and days, that is the duration is there, that is in the days. Then man days required. Man days means if one day one worker is working for 2 days, then total will become 2 man days. Is it right? If one worker is working for 2 days, then that total will become 2 man days. If two workers are working for 2 days, then 2 into 2, 4 man days will be there. So this is the one of the important concept of man days. So whatever the man days are there, man days are required by each activity are noted under the M into D column. So obviously there is a D column is there, whatever the duration of the days is there, that is D column, and worker man required, labor required for each activity. So already in this particular table it is given each activity requires one labor. So here whatever the M column is there, it contains only 1 1 1. That is the important part. So this is the table. So network analysis table. So this is the network analysis table. Hope you are finding this table in good way. So first is the activity. So what are the 1 to 2, 1 to 3, 1 to 5, 1 to 6, oh sorry, 2 to 3, 2 to 6, 3 to 4, 4 to 7, 5 to 6, 6 to 7. All activities we have written in vertical manner, that is in column way. Then duration. So this column is called D. It is indicated by D, that is duration in a days, 10, 6. So already this data is provided to you in previous condition. Then main, how much men you require for that particular activity. So for each activity one labor is required. It is indicated by M. So everywhere it is written 1, but only for 2 to 3 activities it is written 0. Why? Already 2 to 3 activity for this duration is required 0. So 0 into 1 it will become 0, and that 2 to 3 activity is the dummy activity. So why to provide a worker for dummy activity? Dummy activity means that activity is not in the particular, it is not present, but still we have to consider it to calculate total project days. So this for this activity only 0 is written. For other all activities 1 is written. Okay, for all the activities 1 is written. Then man days, m into d. So that particular part we have to calculate, m into d. Okay, m into d, we have to calculate that m into d, 1 into 10, 10, 1 into 6, 6, 1 into 4, 4. So that all activities we have calculated here. Then whatever the early start and late start is there, we have calculated this particular part. Based on this, you have to calculate the float. So somebody may think that why these many 14 oblique 10 or 14 oblique 8 oblique 0 is written here, because this is the based on the float timing. So 0 0 difference is 0, 10 10 difference is 10. Then for if you go to the backward diagram, so whatever the critical activities are there, these are having all zeros. But if you go to this particular activity, or sorry, if you go to this particular activity, 2 number activity, here you are written L is equal to 10. Why? Because it is coming from this third particular point or third node. It is coming from third node. But from this 6 number node, this 24 minus 8, that 16 is also there. So here instead of 10, you have to write 10 oblique 16. So that part we have not written, but that is considered here in this network diagram. Okay, so that is considered here in network diagram, and based on that the float is calculated. Okay, once you calculate this particular float of each activity, then the total mandate requirement is 60. That means take the summation of this m into d column. So this m into d column summation you have to take. So this gives me 10 plus 6, 16 plus 4, 20 plus 8, 28 plus 10, 38 plus 10, 60, 48, 48 plus 6, 54, 54 plus 6, 60. This is the 60. So total man days requirement is 60. So 60 man days are required, and since project duration is 30, so based on this network diagram, so whatever this network diagram is there, based on this network diagram, we have calculated total number of days are 30. And when we go further, we have calculated man days are 60, but total project duration is 30 days. Then the number of men required to complete the project is 60 minus 30, sorry, 60 divided by 30. So whatever the 60 number is coming from this man days divided by total number of days of project, the whatever may be coming in this probability is 30. So 60 divided by 30 is equal to 2. So it shows that 2 workers are required, only 2 workers are required to complete this particular project. So though the activities are more, but that minimum 2 workers are required to complete this particular project, so that we have find out. And within these 2 workers only we can allocate these activities by queuing theory. Okay, how to make the allocations within these workers, within only 2 workers. So as